All right, here we go. Like we have volume. Go ahead and open up Unity. 2017. How's everyone doing today? Okay. Hi, Hayes. All right, so we're running through Restreamio again. So we're streaming out to all three services. I do have Restreamio because it has the chat for all three as well. We should be good to go. What was everyone up to today? Too close. Come on. Unity crash already? Hard drive light's going. And it just opened up on a different model. Head will fit this in here. And I still have a lot of stuff to do with the models themselves. I'm going to save that for another video. I might just go ahead and make it a, sorry, not a lot. I might save it for another live stream. It'll be a pretty boring live stream because I'm just going to be tweaking animations. I might just make it a video for the ones that I had problems with. I don't know. We'll see. But for this, I want to start scripting. Have the animation set up. Hello, everyone. So Restreamio chat's a little slow, but that's okay. So I want to go ahead and start creating the hierarchy for some of the systems that we're going to have. And I've already decided on a theme for at least my version of the game. I want to go with superheroes. My son and I went and played Champions Online last week, and it brought back memories of City of Heroes and villains. And I really like the game. There's not a whole lot out there like that right now, so I'm going to go ahead and make something along that line. Of course, it's just an engine, so you can go ahead and make whatever one you want. That effect, I'm going to go ahead, put a new C# script, which I will call mob. And this is the absolute base mob. I've never worked for any big gaming companies. The droid's working on Windows. Those line endings. All right. Now, these are just templates for the mobs. I'm probably going to go ahead and have them be scriptable objects later. I don't want to put that much thought into it right now. I just want to focus on how I want the template for them to be. I'll worry about whether or not I want to keep them as mono behaviors so I can just have prefabs that I drag and drop in, or if I want to keep them as scriptable objects so I can throw them in a database and instantiate from there. I prefer the later method, but like I said, let's not worry about that right now. So everything a mob has. Serialized field, string, mob name, serialized field, string. Every mob going to have health. I'm trying to think, is there any situation where I could have a mob that doesn't have health? NPCs can spawn off a basic mob. They can have health. Have ones that just turn into, you talk to them, maybe they turn into an enemy you got to fight, or you got to escort them. So yeah, they need health. So current health. And I put it as a string. And I will be using, it can never be, I don't ever want it to be negative. So I want to do uint, but there's a few systems I'm going to be working with that don't work with uint. So for now, I'm going to stick with an int. I might have to change that later. Current health, max health. Go. I will need Pretty sure I'm going to want to have this on the base. Every mob can be buffed. We have not made buffs yet, so I'm not going to bother putting those in. Cat's going. Sorry for thinking, not ignoring you. Let me check. Let me just quickly catch up. Just people saying hi. So hello. Is my day job uni related? It never used to be. I just a lot of other language, mostly C++. But now that I've started teaching, I teach Unity as well at a local high school. This year, I actually won't be doing any Unity. We're doing, I'll be teaching Python, Java, other stuff along that lines, IT stuff. Raspberry Pi, IoT. Weird. I know it's weird. If you would have asked me 20 years ago, do you picture yourself 20 years from now being a teacher teaching the stuff that I'm teaching? I would no. Teachers don't make enough money. Anyway, I enjoy teaching. Like I said, I know I'm going to need an area of buffs. And yeah, check chat. I lost my stream thought. Now I know some people prefer just the short video form. I don't know what to tell you. There's going to be days that there are just videos. I had thought of actually sitting down and condensing the videos to those, but cut out all the talking parts. That's going to take a long time, especially if I have like a 4-hour stream. Then it's going to take me probably another 8 to 10 hours to actually go through that and cut it down and upload it. So this is mostly going to be a live series. If you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. The code's available up on GitHub, so you'll be able to go ahead and download it. I'll try to put a lot of commenting in for you. But I want to keep this mostly a live series. I enjoy doing the live series. Okay, so we got those. We're working on Mac too much. I'm hitting Alt S. Okay, back in. I am going to need buffs. All the other ones I need. Now, since I haven't had a chance to stream the last 2 weeks, last week I had planned on uploading a video. That was going to be the video where I went ahead and did all the animations. I just never got a chance to. And again, this is probably going to be in a database somewhere. I'm probably going to keep them as scriptable objects. I'm going to worry about that next video. Today, I just want to kind of get them template out. But I've just been busy, so I just haven't had a chance. Like I said, I'll probably make it maybe tomorrow. I'll get a chance to sit down, and it'll probably be a pretty boring stream. I'm going to be sitting there tweaking animations to get them working right. And since now I know I have a theme for my game, I know what animations for me personally to look for. I'll make sure to keep them in separate folders so that if you're downloading the source code, but maybe you've got your own set of animations you want to use, you can just literally delete the one folder, get rid of all my animations, and just drag yours in, if you wish. Okay. So buff. Why am I not getting a serialized field? Listen. Yeah, might have to. Let's get it done first. And you can't call it name because that's you're overwriting something. So I'll just call it buff name, small b. Oh, and I got a question a little while ago about why I go ahead and have something like buff name, and I'll come down here and make a setter and getter for it. Why don't I just go ahead, make this public and use, braces. the get and set methods, I can't serialize this properly. Not the way I want to. So it does require a little extra typing to do this way, then come down here and code in the set and get for it. But I can serialize it the way I want and access the way I want as well. Okay, so buff name. It's going to have some sort of effect, which we haven't worked on yet. Now that we have buff here. And I don't think I want to limit the amount of buffs they have. We'll go ahead and just make a list. Base. Serialized field is so I can see it in the inspector, and I can do stuff to it in the inspector without making it public. But I still get to keep that private encapsulation that I want for just object-oriented programming, but it allows me to work with it in the inspector. That's the main reason why I do it. There's other things that it does as well, but that's the main reason why I do it. Save buff. Save buff. Not recognizing buff. Oh. I don't want to make it public because then it breaks encapsulation. Different languages. Anyway. Got the list of buffs. I'm actually going to put base there. Just to keep my created data types versus just the built-in ones, just for now. Okay, so back to mobs. So we have their name, current health, max health. I didn't even think of it. I should have went ahead and made it an enumerator so I could just right click and have it make the methods for me too, but whoops. Yes, I'm standing. I move a lot when I'm standing. It's a sit stand desk. I prefer to stand. I spend all day sitting. So if I can stand, I want to take that chance. I'm actually thinking of putting a standing desk at school. Why? Because I sit all day. I sit all day and I just don't get enough exercise. At least standing burns a little bit more calories. And to be honest, I just feel better at the end of the day if I'm standing. Let's say I'm behind the desk for 10 to 12 hours for that day. If I find if I can stand for at least 8 of it, at the end of the day, I just feel better. It sounds weird, but I just do. I picked up a treadmill desk, tried that for a while. I just did not like that walking motion in typing. I found myself just turning it off all the time and standing on it, and standing on a treadmill is not very comfortable. So I thought I'd go ahead this time around. I needed a new desk down here. So I built a stand desk, and I have pictures of it on my Instagram if anyone wants to go look at it. But anyway, so I built a sit stand desk, and I actually really like it. So I knew by the end of the first day that this was the setup for me. A big desk, but one that I could sit when I really needed to, stand when I wanted. Now I notice when I'm sitting, it's usually because I am actually just physically tired. That's also a good cue for me to go to bed because that's where I'm just going to. No problem. Solomaz, hi, how you doing, Mr. Solomaz? Uh, you don't burn that. I don't know. A lot of people talk about how much more calories you burn while standing. It's not that much more. It has to do more with just the way blood flows through your system. It's just better for you to stand or squat. I'm not making a squatting desk. Little squatty potty built in. Okay, so got the buffs. Go ahead and start making all those setters and getters. And I'm trying to think, I still might want to restrict it to, for now we don't have to worry about it. Let's just go, again, we'll just get the basics, get the template done. We can always come back and change, especially since we're using a lot of inherited classes. We won't have to worry about too much if we have to go back and change something. Public string, I'm just going to call name. Adds it for me, and then it took it away. Okay, get. Oh, which by the way, my wife is out west right now visiting her sister, so my son will be coming down at some point to, he'll need help with the game he's playing. I'll have to go upstairs and quickly log him in or something. He was going ahead and Skyping me. I told him not to do it until I come upstairs, but we'll see. Turn mob name. That. And for now, I'm not going to bother doing any sanity checking. I know at some point I'm going to want to come back and do it. A second just to move my desk up. Seems low. And that's another thing I noticed too, is that during the day, in the morning, my desk feels a little low. At night, it feels a little high. I wonder if that's because of standing, if there's some sort of like compression or something like that. Anyway, it's something I've noticed after using a stand desk for a while. Okay, so now we need a public. I'm just trying to think, do I just want health? I want to have one that passes in current health, max health, or do I want one that just passes one in? Probably just the one. And let's spell it all out. Cure health. Here again. We should check to be sure that's, oh, we'll do it. It's bugging me that if I don't. If value. One more I need to do in here. Current health comes in greater than max health. Current health equal to. Okay. The value's passed it. If it's less than 0, sorry, the value. Value is less than 0. Set it to 0. Value is greater than max health. Just set it to max health. Else, set it to whatever the value is passed in it. There we go. And then we also need max health. Max health paid with that much. spaces in, but it does it for me. Ah. That. And there's a lot of stuff here we don't have to check. I think we can just go ahead and just take the value in for max health. There are some sanity checks you want to do. Sure, it's greater than 0. And I think that's still what I'm going to do for now. Max health is less than 1. Oh, sorry. Value is less than 1. Max health is equal to 1. Health. Max health. The value passed in. There's going to be an upper limit too, probably at some point, but right now, level. Field int level. I missed it. Farm, well, I missed it. Farm something. Anyway, sorry I missed that. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. Wait a minute, I can pull it up my bot. Nope. I don't know. My bot's late. Or not working. One or the other. It doesn't matter. Either way, thank you. It's rough. All right, there we go. The team full bear? No, he said what I missed. Anyway, welcome to the new followers. Sorry I missed that. Yeah. For those that don't know, later on when you start building bigger and bigger applications, I got this one. Gato Fasta. Anyway, thank you for the follow. For those that don't know, when you start getting into bigger and bigger systems, it gets a lot harder to debug. Let me just switch the sound so it's going through here. There we go.
You need to shave this thing.
Shut up, Grandma! Grow a beard! Up in the beard! Drink to the beard! Because beards are good! And scruff!
Anyway, so it gets harder and harder to debug. So if you have everything public and everything can access everything else, you don't know what's changing that particular value. But if you go ahead and you keep it private, you know that the value is not being modified correctly. I know it's in this script. So let's say for some reason, when it levels up and I'm calling the level up method on this script, and for some reason it's jumping 2 levels or back level, it's not going the way I want. I know it has to do with the code in this script, because outside of this script, the only way that they have access to it is to call the level up method. But I'm not going to worry about all these extra methods like the level up method and stuff like that. I just want to get the basic template set up. And I think we're working on a level, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Level. Have a. Yeah. Turn. Set. And again, we can do the same sort of sanity check and just make sure the value is over 1. Do I want level 0 stuff? Do I want people to start off at level 0? How is the volume on my mic? I could just move it closer. If the volume on my mic is too low, I can turn it up. Let me know. Hi, Greg. Yeah, let me know if the volume on my mic is too low. I moved it a little bit closer. So yeah, we'll do a little bit of sanity checking here. We've already started, and I've already hit that insert key. So set. Oh. If we could start off at 0, or do we want to start everyone off at level 1? I'm also going to spawn the player from this. Visions. Okay, that's good. I can turn it up a bit more if need be. I prefer not to because then it just introduces all the extra noise around me. I'll just try to stand closer. So anyway, if value is less than, now we'll set 0 as the default value. And again, solved by using a uint, but I know there was problems later on down the road with something that I was working on. I couldn't use the uint. Hopefully I can get it to work this time. But anyway, if I can't, we'll stick with the int for now. If value is greater than 0, I'm just going to say that level is equal to 0. And I don't have a max level yet. At some point I will need it, but that's fine. Else, level is equal to the value that I'm passed in. Now buffs. Okay. Why don't I put underscores in the beginning? I used to, because when I first started programming in Unity, remember I was coming strictly from basically Objective-C, C++ background. There, I put an underscore underneath before each private variable. In C#, the proper way, I guess the proper etiquette, the more dominant way in C# is not to do it. And I guess it really just depends on how much you, if I would have never went to YouTube or live streaming with that, if it was just been code just for me, I probably still would have done it. But now when I'm in C#, I just don't. I know all my variables are going to be private anyway. Very seldom do I ever make a public variable. If I do, it's probably a static variable. But even then, yeah, so I almost always make them private. Uh-oh. What am I screwing up here? Oh, need one more here. Okay. All different would implement a radius around an enemy. Multiple players attack the monster, gain strength. It's not that hard at all. There's a couple ways you could do that. You could have, when someone attacks you, you could go out and do a radius check. Then I'm thinking easier way might be to go ahead and have some sort of collider set up on him. So when other players enter that collider, you already know how many people are there. And you also know what people are there. So when someone attacks you, you already know there's 5. I like that way better because in that way there you don't have to recalculate every time you're attacked. Now, how many people around me? Quick check. You just know. Then when they leave, you get the on trigger enter. You know, just to subtract 1. So as far as keeping track of them, it's really just an array or a list, depending what you're using. Obviously a list in that situation. But that's how I would do it. But you could go ahead and just calculate, you know, who's within a certain distance of me. You're reading. Yeah, I'm using. Let me drag it over. Since I'm going through Restreamio, I get all of the chat from every platform that I'm streaming to. So I have YouTube, Twitch, and Mixer, all 3 together. It's slower. The chat's probably about, since I'm going through Restreamio, the service itself, I find between Mixer and, well, Mixer is generally the fastest, followed by Twitch, followed by YouTube. And it fluctuates between 5 to 20 seconds as far as the delay that you're seeing. And then when you're typing in an answer, even to a question that I might ask, I find that can be up to about 5 seconds later as well. So it's much slower, but allows me to stream out to all 3 services. I know some people like YouTube, they only want to use YouTube. Some people like Mixer, they only want to use Mixer. Same thing with Twitch. Some people like Twitch, and they only want to use Twitch. I haven't checked in with Mixer in the last little while, and while I like their service, I don't like at the speed that they're going at. Maybe at the end of this month, I'll have some time to go back and revisit, see if they've updated stuff enough for me to continue on with the project I was working on. If not, I don't know. I like them, I really do, but I just can't do what I want to do with what they have right now. The map-based system. Let me see. So if it's map-based system, let me make this bigger so I can stand closer to the mic and read it. There we go. Oh, so people do want the mic up a little bit? Okay, so if it's a map-based system, when you load up a level with the players, you can plus minus on load. For player loads or leaves during playtime, you could, yeah. I think what he was asking about is if someone attacks you, you want to get all the people within a certain radius of you and then have some sort of effect go off that way. So let's say someone attacks you, you got 5 people around you, you gain like 10 health per person. I think that's what he was asking. Yeah, I think right now, I'm just going to keep multi-streaming. At least for game development stuff, that'll go up on YouTube. That way I don't have to worry about trying to make sure that I can download it from either Twitch or Mixer and then get it uploaded to YouTube as well. It just streams straight to YouTube. And it saves, YouTube saves the stream after. I have nothing to do with it. It just saves it automatically. I've just got to upload a thumbnail and fix the title and description and everything else. Which, of course, I can't really do the description. I'll plan on what we're going to do that day.
Shut up, grandma, grab a beer, dump in the beer, drink to the beer, cause beers are good and scruff.
Durg, is it Durg Goblin? UK, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. But anyway, so that's that. It's confusing. I don't know any of the proper terms. Proper terms for what? I missed what we were talking about. Oh, the map-based thing. Yeah.
Welcome.
Do I announce when I go to? I wanted to do it every Saturday at noon, but last week I had an appointment, so I couldn't do it. I had an appointment at 10. I knew I was going to be more than 2 hours before I could get home. So I wanted to go ahead and upload a video, but that week was just crazy. I just didn't have time to sit down. And all I was going to do is just sit down and tweak the animations. I just didn't even get time. So it wasn't even a hard video to make. By the time I get home, I'm tired. You know, full day at work. Then I've got a family and some other stuff that I do after work and just tired. So hopefully after, at least by the end of this month, I can get back. So after the end of this month, starting next month, I'll just be teaching for the most of the time during the week. So I'll have my weekends hopefully free. And then I can get onto at least a weekend schedule of doing the Saturday stream. We'll see. And it'll be 12 o'clock my time. Right now, my time, 4:20 something. It's 4:28, so I might as well say 4:30. So just think 4 hours before now is when I generally like to stream. Today I slept in, so that's what happened there. I never remember Eastern Daylight Time, but there's also Eastern Standard Time. 4.5 hours from now, or previous before now. That's fine. Okay, so I think I've caught up on chat, so let's get back to this. Buffs is next. And Buffs. Buffs also have an icon associated with them. And how do I want the icon to work? I can have the icon. It's easy enough just to throw an image here, but I would like a tooltip where you hover over it, and that would be the actual icon itself. I like that idea better. And again, this is all fairly loose. I'm sure there's going to be lots of changes along the way, but I wanted to live stream it so everyone can see what my thought process was. And I'm probably just going to use the Unity GUI system. It's built in. We don't have to worry about... it's built in. We don't have to worry about downloading anyone else's system, whether or not there's like paid parts to it or if everything's free. I think this has to be a model developed. I really should be using a namespace as well. Let's go ahead and we'll keep Unity. This way I have access to, I don't need the sprite. I don't think. Let's find out. Again, serialized field. Oh, that comes from Unity. And I want a sprite, which I will call image. Serialized field, type string. So it will call tooltip. Something tells me that this is already built in somewhere. There's already a class for this. I can't think of it. If someone knows of one, let me know in chat. Great. I won't have to write this myself, but I can't think of one right now, so I'm going to go ahead and just make it myself. Icon. Nope. Class called icon. We'll use image. And get. Image. That. We're just going to go ahead and set the tooltip. Oh, sorry. Already looking ahead. Image will be equal to. My son was down here earlier, and he's got this incense craze going right now. A friend of mine sent me a couple of incense holders and a box of incense. And even though I'm not an incense person, I don't mind some of them, but my son thinks they're really cool. Every time he's down here, he's like, "Daddy, can I light an incense? Can I light an incense?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He lights it, smells it, takes one or two whiffs, then takes off. But I'm left with this burning stick. So this one here, he really liked because he calls it Groot's mother and father because it's got the girl face and a guy's face. I probably could just blow it out. Look. I guess you can't really blow them out, but you probably could snip them below the burning part. That actually might be a better idea. The small pair of scissors. This one I don't care too much for. It find it builds up my throat. But anyway. Public. String. Tooltip. Just the tip. So we're going to go ahead, get. And we'll just return the tooltip. And that. Yep. Equal to the value. And again, with strings, you should have some sort of validation in there. For now, I'm just not worried. I'll come back and clean those up. So now we have icon. And like I said, I want to keep my made types below the built-in types for now. And effects. I haven't bothered covering how I'm going to do stats. I haven't even really thought about it yet. The last time in the original series, we went ahead and made a special class for each stat. And I'm probably going to do the exact same thing in this one too, but I want to sit down with a pen and paper and figure out exactly what stats I want. Maybe I want different ones this time. Last time around, I picked the ones that I just normally use for almost every game. This time around, since I know I want to have superhero themed, I want to go down and maybe try to make some different stats, or at least different names for the stats, and then how they're going to affect things differently. And for those that came in late, I'm looking at possibly not a clone of superheroes, or not super squad. Although that would make the kids on my other channel much happier, but making a somewhat of a clone of City of Heroes. At least the systems that were in it. Not an exact clone, but spiritual successor. So effects, I'm going to leave blank for now because I'm not sure how I want those to work. I know the work, increase this stat, decrease that one. And a timer. Buffs. Some have timers, some don't, but it's easy to say if a timer is -1 or max duration. That's what it is, duration. We'll do it that way. Serialized field, int, float. We could have it in seconds. Let's do it that way. I really want to use an int. Now I'm just going to make a comment here. Or we could make it just a Boolean value. I like the idea of having a duration of -1 means that the max duration, I should say, and current duration. I think we'll just have a Boolean value though. Just to make things cleaner and easier, we'll go ahead, we'll just set a bool for it. Int cur duration. Serialized field, bool. Per man int. Is that right? I'll look that up later. Permanent. And I think bools default to true in C#. If that's the case, I want to make sure this is false by default. Does it have to derive from mono behavior? No, actually, it's not supposed to. Again, I'm not worried about inheritance right now. Later on, we can go ahead and fix that. I could do it that way. I might go ahead and break that out and to have a time buff versus just a regular buff. Or, well, no, because I want to keep it this way for now, I think. As I start coming up with different types of buffs, I might want to come and change this again. Like healing. Healing could be treated as a buff. Where we go ahead and under effects, where we just say, like health plus 100 instead of strength plus 10. And it could be a permanent, right? How do HOTS work? And of course, debuffs, exact opposite. Should work the exact same duration, like 5 minutes. Under the effect, it's like a negative something. I guess you could have permanent debuffs. Maybe if there's specific races or something like our class that you pick that gives you a negative something at class creation, you can have that in there as well. Area buff. I'm probably where it gets everyone. Yeah, when we get into something like area buff, that's a very specialized case. So for something like that, I would inherit from this. And we're not going to be inheriting from mono behavior because is there any reason why this will have to be a component? And that's the only reason I can think of to make it a mono behavior. Will this ever have to be a component? I don't think so. Again, all this stuff I want to throw into a database and just leave it all there. Well, if it gives tick damage, or there's the opposite, if it's a hot where it gives health over time, that could be in the effects down here. It lasts 5 minutes. This is, how much time is left. And then part of the effect could be where it ticks. And again, it could also become a, man, that's it. Anyway, it could also just become inherited from this and be, buff over time, which inherits from buff. In which case we'd have some sort of invoke method. Well, no. I think you want an easy way to be able to just flag a buff when you're creating them in the database that are going to be permanent or not. So when I'm sitting down, let's say I get this done, I've got my database set up and I'm going through going, okay, I need something to buff strength. Maybe there's like a weaker version, maybe strength 1, we'll call it. And that lasts for, I don't know, a minute and gives, down here under effects will be, strength +1 or strength +10, let's say. And then there's a second version, which could be, strength 2, which lasts maybe, what was the other one? 10 minutes. Let's make this one last 15 minutes. And it's, strength +20. And then maybe later on, you could pick something up like a piece of, what do you call it? Gear and, a helm of strength. And you put that helm on and it gives you strength plus, 16. And it's permanent as long as you have that helmet on. So when that helmet comes off, then you can take this buff off. But as long as you're wearing it, it's permanent. Another thing is with when you're creating your character, maybe you pick a class that's very melee heavy, and just by picking that class, you can give them a permanent buff to strength. Maybe they start with an extra 50 strength or something like that. Now, class-based ones, maybe you don't want them showing up as a buff. I generally don't like to have games where you've just got this giant string of buffs and debuffs underneath your character. But I don't mind a few. Stuff like this, I could see maybe later on again inheriting out from buff to class buffs or racial buffs or whatever. And those ones, when you're looking at your character, maybe there's a special page for these types of things. These type of buffs will show up there for those classes, either classes and race, but not for underneath your character's name or their icon on screen. Just to keep things clean. I don't want to use update. I want to have as few updates as possible. Every update, even if it's empty, still uses a bit of time on the processor, so I just want to ignore it. But again, I'm not even going to worry about stuff like AoEs and hots and dots right now. Let's just get the basic system in. Ability to buff. Put that in here. Got the icon. Mobs have an icon, right?
Welcome.
Welcome. We should just keep... Oh, wait, it's going to tell me. White Hippo, thank you for the follow. But mobs, they have an icon.
You need to shave this thing.
Shut up, Grandma! Grow a beard! Up in the beard! Drink to the beard, cause beards are good and scruff!
I should change that over. There's two different systems that are actually playing the sounds. The welcome one's coming from Muxy, which is the system I like. But because I'd switched over to Mixer, I was using StreamJar over there. It's the music part about the beard comes from there. So public icon. Damn, I wanted to call it icon. and buffs. I need a way to add a buff, subtract a buff. Need a way to iterate through. All of them. I'm just going to call this buffs. I'm trying to think if I should just pass them back as an array. Yes, buffs will also be on items. So you can get a sword, like I said, you know, sword with maybe that's got strength 2 on it. When you equip that sword, it's a permanent buff when you put it on. Now again, I'm not sure. I'm probably going to be passing this in as an array. Then I'll have to go ahead and during set pass that array in. But for now, I just want to know I have a method in place for it. And I'm going to need ways in buffs to add a specific buff. Let's shrink some of these up. That. I don't need any other specific methods. I do need to add some sanity checking there, but that's fine. Current. Max. Level, we need to level up. I didn't want to do it, but we're going to go ahead and do it now. All we're going to do is plus a level. I see chat moving. Just give me a second here. The thumbnail, we set it and forget it. For buffs, I do want a way to specifically add and remove buffs. Let's at least get it set up so we can add buffs. Again, removing them is going to depend on how I want to deal with them. For now, I just want to keep them in a list, so I will go ahead and create a void. Public add buff. Buffs. And of course I need to actually add the buff. Also add the dot add. And I could do the same thing for removing it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep them in a list. I don't see why I would want to use anything but a list. The buffs themselves, create to a hash table later. And I'm thinking too far ahead. Now let's just go ahead and keep it. Okay, what was I missing? Yes, that's under effects for buffs. Again, I don't want to deal with this just yet because there's so many different ways that I could deal with it. There's so many different things that could happen. I'm probably going to want to break it off into some sort of something that inherits from this. But right now, just having the buff class, that's fine. I don't care what the buff class does. I just know that my mobs are going to need them. And pretty much every character in the game is going to derive from mobs. So you have mobs as far as the stuff you fight. You have your characters, they will derive from mob. NPCs, they could derive from mob. And you just build up like those layers of inheritance as you need them. So right now, every character in the game, regardless if it's something I'm fighting, or if it's an NPC, or if it's a character that you're making, they're all going to have this. That's what I'm looking at right now. For instance, we're talking about classes and races. I'm not sure. Maybe everything will have a race, but I'm not sure if everything's going to have a class. We could put it in here and use an enum for the potential classes and races that we're looking at right now, and just have them a default one or unspecified. But I don't want to deal with that just yet. Quickly catch up on chat because it was scrolling around while I was thinking there. A quick question. You think you allow you to do, it would be so much work to switch the engine over to C++, and there's so many things inside of Unity that you wouldn't be able to do, at least not easily, if they switched over to C++. So no, I'm perfectly fine with C#. It compiles down to the exact same code that you would really get from C++ anyway. Now there we go. Yeah, you can use IL. Yeah, that. So IL to CPP converts everything down anyway, and it's just much faster to develop in C#. Serialized field. We answered it earlier, but one more time. I'm using serialized field to keep all of my variables private, but still be allowed to access them in the inspector. To be honest, I'm probably not going to be accessing them in the inspector, but I'll be able to view them in the inspector, especially when we go ahead and start adding them to our scriptable objects. So when we go ahead and make databases, I'll be able to expand that database and actually see what the values of these variables are. I can change them in there, but I don't want to. I don't know if there's a way to make them serializable and read only. I could do that in an editor script. I probably won't though, because I'm probably going to leave it editable anyway, because the only time you're going to see them is while you're in the editor. I'm not too worried about that. Yes, making it public allows you to see it, but then every script can access it. And just go back, I don't know, was it 30 minutes ago? I was talking about why you want to keep things encapsulated. It doesn't make it more efficient. It just makes it easier when you get larger systems that you're working on to debug. Okay. I'm going to leave remove buff, but I will make a comment here since we're talking about it. And sometimes I might want to come in and maybe you've got a bunch of debuffs on you, which are the same as the buff, which I probably should have some sort of Boolean value for debuff. But again, until I actually, sorry, in here, a Boolean value for buff or debuff. So when you have something that says remove a random debuff, I know I can come in here and just do it. But again, if I end up inheriting from it for debuffs and buffs, I can do it that way just by type. So let's make a note of that. Buff. All right. Again, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. What else do we need? That's it for the first pass, I guess. That should be good enough. Close that. Again, my next stream, I'll try to get one in tomorrow. Like I said, my wife right now is out west, so it's just my son and I know he wants to go see the movie, go see a movie tomorrow, but Spider-Man's coming out. And if I wait, I can just take the whole family out. Spider-Man. Does anyone know when Spider-Man's released? Because of the delay, it might be faster for me to actually look it up. I thought it was the first week of June, wasn't it? Or June. First week of July. Yeah, but Despicable Me. There's tons of stuff out for him to see right now. Spider-Man. Probably could have just Googled it faster. Coming soon. 6th of July? All right. That's good because I'm using Fandango and I'm looking. I hit the coming soon. The first one it shows me is Star Wars The Last Jedi, which is December 15th, day before my birthday. November. Why would they not list them in chronological order? And Spider-Man Homecoming here opens next Friday. That's a week. Maybe I'll take him to the movies tomorrow. Been a good boy. He passed his sailing camp. I'll have to find something. There's tons of stuff on that he wants. Okay, so we'll go ahead. Anyway, if I don't go to the movies, I'll probably stream around 12. If I do go to the movies, I don't know. I'll probably stream later on in the day. It'll be probably after 4 my time. Again, we're not going to be working on this, and I'll be streaming. It'll be probably a fairly long stream, but I'm just going to be going through and working on animations. Getting them all set up. It's the 7th. Let me just quickly take a look here. Yeah, the 7th is a Friday for me. And I'm on the 1st right now, so don't like going to the movies twice in 1 week, but I haven't brought them to the movies in a while. We usually go at least twice a month. Usually I try to get it to be a whole family thing, mother, daddy, and son, but sometimes we don't get around to it. Sometimes it's just daddy and son. So I don't think of anything else that I really want to add to buff right now. And I think Icon's done. It's a pretty simple class. And I forgot to do system.serializable. And sounds like my dog wants out. I'm going to call my son, see if he'll let him out. He's 8. I'm not going to hold my breath. What time is it now? It's almost 5 o'clock here. It's 2 minutes to 5. One more class I was working on. No, just keep all these in their own folder. It can affect this, or we'll be smart enough to update them. But it doesn't. Okay. So let's go ahead. We'll start moving on to items next too. And I'm already thinking, just looking at items, that there could be even a more base class. Items and mobs, you just basically our game object. Everything's going to have an icon. I know everything I want to have an icon. I want to have a name. I can even go as far as to give everything in game its own specific ID number. And before I start this one, let me go ahead and let that dog out. Oh, she's going to be up there barking, and she'll probably end up making a mess. So give me just a second here. I can let the dogs out, then we'll come back and work on item. All right. My son is going to let the dogs in. Okay. Assuming. I do not know a way to get rid of those, the Control R plus LF warnings. Except for using a Mac. Yes, the database is going to be a scriptable object as well. If you want to get a head start, go ahead and watch the series. Even if you don't do the actual typing, just go ahead and watch the series for the scriptable object database that I did with the item database. We're going to be using that exact same technique for all the databases in this game. I'm looking at third person. Okay. So item, again, we need name, icon, effects, and then even out of here, item type, different types do different things. So I'm just going to tab this in. We could have a weapon. I'm sure you heard that. As much as I try to tune my mic to cut everything else out, these are sound canceling headphones. And I heard my son just flying up those stairs. And we'll probably hear it again as he comes back down. even though we're 2 floors away. Okay. So anyway, armor. I was going to say wearable. All your jewelry, everything else. However you want to just design the wearable stuff. It all goes here. What about potions? Do they fall under here? Maybe you're making a game where you have scrolls, consumables. That's this category. And again, weapon and armor, really the only difference is one has an armor level, one has a weapon level. But outside of that, I think everything else falls under item. So they can both be children of item. I'm not seeing a problem with that. And I'm going to put effects/buffs. Again, I haven't really sat down to figure out what I want for buffs because I really don't know what buffs are going to be right now. I just know that I need some sort of effect when I do stuff. Tooltip. There could also be a description for its tooltip. Yeah, for icon, we have the tooltip for icon. Item could use a description. That's better. I don't think I want the description to be put into the tooltip because then you're limited to just, you want to keep that as brief as possible. But what about pop-ups when you hover over stuff? I've always liked that where you can hover over and it shows what the stats are and then compares to what you're currently wearing. So a tooltip replacement. Let me go make a separate line for that. That's probably something I'm going to want to think about. I'm probably going to want to add that, but it's something I'm going to have to think about. Yeah, again, I'm not going to worry about the stats right now either. I want to go over those later. I know I'm going to have stats. What exact stats? I don't know yet. I don't need to know right now. And again, since I'm going for a superhero themed game, I want to have my stats to be superhero themed named. And I want it to be fairly comical. Can't think of anything else that I need to put in here. At least not for now. A name, an icon, these types. Tooltip replacement. Which will be once we start working on UI, this is where I'll start working on this. Effects/buffs, they're probably going to be pretty much the exact same thing. So let's go ahead. We'll start off by making this enum. I don't want to put all this in new folders. I really should be doing it now, but I just want to get stuff done. I'll reorganize into folders later. And I should have called, whoops, I too busy thinking of folders. What item type or item types? Let's go singular. Superhero stats like awesomeness. Yeah, basically, yeah. Really silly names that you'd really only see in a superhero RPG. Heroicness. What would be one for endurance? Or instead of having endurance, you could have, well, I don't want durability either. There's There's got to be some sort of hulkiness or something like. Oh, yeah, there we go. If instead of for strength, of course we probably can't use Hulk because Marvel would sue us. But you get the idea, right? Different names, but of course when you hover over that stat, we'd get a tooltip for it. Okay. What was I doing? I was doing it in num. And I might go ahead and actually just do the namespaces now. I haven't really thought that far ahead on how I want everything to be structured. Maybe I'll wait until I have a chance to think about it. Just end up changing everything anyway. All right, so num types. We have weapon, armor, consumable. Is every item always going to fall into that category? Weapon, armor, consumable. What else do we need? Like jewelry, or I'm going to count them all as wearables. Well, I guess we could have them separated out. Yeah, we'll do it just to be more specific. I don't want to call it jewelry though. And wearable, I don't really like either, but I can come back and change it later. Well, tattoos can be part of armor. So instead of having bracers, you could have tattoos. So it would just be transparent with that design on it. I don't think. Yeah, I don't like the name wearable, but I just can't think of anything else right now. I don't want jewelry. Fantasy type games, but you get the idea. The other slots. And I don't even know. I might not even have other slots. I might just have basic armor, maybe a pocket item or something like that, or a pendant that you can wear. There might not be a whole lot of slots. I haven't thought that far ahead. I don't want to. I just want the basic stuff done. Stuff that's going to be easily changed later on without making huge effects. Okay, so back to item. Start in here. What would I do in public? Oh, the Unity class I just taught was for middle schoolers, and we didn't use serialized fields. I didn't want to get into describing stuff like that, so we used public for everything. Serialized field. Item type. Item type. Trinket's a good one. Yeah, I like Trinket. Trinket's better than what I have. Back into item. I hate it when it gives me the full path name here. Item was like that just a second ago and it updated. No, I'm not worried about it. It's not going to affect anything. Okay, so tooltip replacement. So again, With the icon, I want to be able to save a specific. So let's say this is a weapon. Let's say it's a staff. It's staff of Joe, and it adds, you know, staff of Joe strength. It gives strength 1. Right? So when you hover over the icon, it'll say staff of Joe, you know, gives you strength +1. And if it's an item, an equipable item anyway. See, here's where we get difference. A potion, when you hover over, there's not going to be any tooltip override, but there will be for equipable items, because when you hover over it, the icon, now instead of just saying, you know, staff of Joe strength 1, increase strength by 10, it's got to show, oh wait, no, trinket. Well, yeah, because then it'll have to go ahead and show what you currently have equipped versus what the new stats will be. So this has to go into an equipable one. And we'll just make that now. And again, this is going to be a scriptable object. I'm not where else. Leave it as model behavior now. We can come back and fix that later. So equipable item. Did I just make a full? Okay. Equipable. Come on. Insert. And I'll just copy paste that over. All right, we got that done. I'm going to put this over here. And not every item is going to be equipable. Go, and I want to move this over too, just so I know. Exactly what it does. Replaces the tool tip or the icon. But then again, they're all going to replace the tooltip. It's just the way it replaces the tooltip. It's going to be different. With this one, you get a comparable tooltip. This is what we do. This is what we currently have equipped. Where with consumables, you still have a tooltip. I want to leave it here. No, it's essentially, well, there's a difference between a tooltip and a description as well. Tooltip short, description long. And again, I don't want to put too much brain power into it. If I have to change it later, I will. Okay, that should be good. I'm catching up on chat. Looking at the stream, I didn't realize how red I look. I did do a color balance. Now my shirt is white. Oh well, I'll live. Okay, so let's go ahead. These all sorted out. How long have we been streaming? An hour and a half. Let's get these ones sorted out. Maybe keep them short and just have more of them throughout the week. That's probably a lot more manageable too. Instead of having that 2 to 4 hour stream once a week, maybe have a bunch of smaller ones. What do you guys think? Do you prefer shorter ones or just one big long one? You think about that. I'm going to go ahead and get this done. The public string item. Sorry, name. Yeah, I'm trying to think. This next week, tomorrow I've got nothing. Well, the rest of the day I have nothing planned. But my son's playing a game. He keeps bugging me wanting to play, and I still got to make supper soon. What time are we at? Yeah, I have to get upstairs make supper soon. We just started late today. Slept in. I needed it after that week. But anyway, tomorrow I've got nothing planned as well. It's Sunday. I usually don't, except maybe possibly taking my son to the show. Monday, again, since it's just my son and I have nothing planned, but I have to pick my wife up at the airport. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I do have stuff planned. And I'll have to check my schedule. I think I don't have anything planned for that Saturday. So yeah, being able to stream 3, maybe 4 times a week, do like an hour, a half hour. I don't want to stream anything less than a half hour. And that's a lot of times when I come downstairs, that's at most how much time I have is a half hour. And I don't want to do like 10-minute streams. It's not worth it. It takes me longer to set up. Item name. And then again, it's hard to, if I'm doing short streams like that, to have that amount of time every night. The best time for me to be able to schedule something like that is when I put my son to bed at 8 and then stream for an hour. But I'm so tired at that time. I generally get up about 3 in the morning. So 8 o'clock at night is pretty much my bedtime as well. Oops, that one. I like the longer ones too, because I can just sit down and just do everything all at once. Shorter ones are also nice too, because then I can go ahead and do something that I've already thought about, and I can actually start putting it into code so I can visualize it, and then maybe stop there, and then a day or 2 later come back and work on it again when maybe I've had more time to think about something. They both have their pros and cons. We got item name. We need the description. I am not Caleb. What do you need? What's wrong? What do you want, Caleb? What do you want? Yeah, I'll be done in a bit. Is there nothing you need? I'm going to make supper after I'm done this. Okay? Oh, you want me to describe your channel? Oh, subscribe to your channel. Okay. Do you even know the name of your channel? Do you know the name of your channel? Oh, okay. Okay. I want to stick to the same naming conventions for everything. So thumbnail. You want to come down and pimp out his own channel. Where's that other letters coming from? Return icon. That icon equal to value. Like for instance, maybe tonight I go to sleep, I wake up tomorrow and I'm working on some other project and I realize that, oh my God, I'm doing icons all wrong. Then when I go to stream, I do like my 30, maybe 60-minute stream. And all we do is just fix icon. I kind of like that. It just means they're short of them. And when you're streaming, they're not you're supposed to try to stream as long as possible. It'll be much easier once I start next month teaching again. Because then I can just say after school, let's say I get home at 4, stream from 4 to 5. That'll give me from 5 to 6 to help my son with his homework. And while I cook, or my wife cooks, one of us cooks. 6 to 7, dinner time. 7 to 8 is usually him taking a bath, do some reading, some playing, whatever. 8 o'clock bedtime. That actually might work out good. I've got to clean off my desk. I have so many damn electronics kicking around. Boxes of this stuff. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Give my son a treat. He comes down and helps me file and put all this away. Anyway. Thumbnail. And buffs, I'm not going to touch yet. Need anything else for those? So we're going to say those are done. And how do I want to go ahead and override my tooltip? Shouldn't really call it tooltip because it's a little bit more than tool. Let's say tooltip override. Just so when I come back to this, maybe a week from now, I'm not confused why we have two different tooltips. Anyone think of any other types or anything? I thought I had more to do than this. Tooltip. Now, we also need to be able to place it on the screen better, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. I'm still not happy with the items. Item type. No, I did not put item. Yeah, how did I put item types in here? Because weapons are going to be different. I could also just go off of the class type as opposed to having the num. I like nums because it just makes it easier to sort through stuff. I get the sets because using properties or fields up here, no, it's properties in C#. I don't teach C#. You can't serialize them properly. So by using gets and sets, we can serialize them properly. The properties, fields or variables. It's long since I read up on C#. They're all variables. That's what they are to me. But yeah, like I was saying, as far as different types, if it's a weapon, if it's an armor, if it's wearable, I want different types for that. So do I really need this? Makes it super simple later on. Because they all have an effect. Part of that effect could be a damage buff, right? So your character, bare-fisted, has, let's say, a damage of 1 to 2. Min 1, max of 2. When you equip a weapon, Having that damage, it could increase your base damage, right? Let's say it just adds 10, flat out 10. So now you do 11 to 12. And maybe your strength plays in, gives you better variance or something like that. I don't know, maybe luck. Put luck in there. I always like games with luck, at least a little bit of luck. It makes games much more enjoyable when you get those like huge, awesome crits. And it just, you know, that crushing, like, oh my God, I rolled a 1 3 times in a row type thing. Games with luck generally are better. You don't want them completely luck-based, but there's always nice you can add some luck to it. So you're never completely without a chance. I think damage is going to be treated as a stat. And the same as your armor level. Maybe you have a class. He's a tank type. He just automatically, just for being a tank, he gets an extra 10 armor level. I like this idea. That way there, we don't have to have all these different classes. But that means everything affects the buff. I like this. Let me make a note of this. Actually, let's do it under mobs. Need stats somewhere. Do I want to do it like I did last time with stats, having all these massive effects? I think so. Let's do at least one more, then I have to go make supper for my kid. I don't like the word stat. Attributes. Of course, I don't like the word mob now either, but that's fine. Like I said, a lot of this can be changed later fairly easily. And did it not open? Clicked the wrong one. Apparently so. The first thing I want is Tributon name. I'm also going to need an icon. Serialized field will have an int value, a current value. We're also going to want one for an int for base value, max value. Well, we're going to need all three of them. Because when you have a buff, I want the buff to work off the base, not the current. So if you have something that adds 10% more strength, I want it to work off the base value. And then, of course, should there be a max? And I'm not going to bother getting into soft caps and like that probably at all. Maybe later on, maybe version 2 or something like that down the road. But what about just a max cap? I don't think so. Hello, how you doing? Was it Taj Minixi or anyway, welcome to the stream. Hello. Public string name set return attribute name. And again, these attributes I'll be putting Last time I went ahead and put them in an enum. I don't know if I'll do that this time. The thing with putting them in an enum, it makes it so easy to sort through them later and to reference them very quickly. I'm not going to do it today, but it's definitely something I want to think about down the road. Let me just quickly add that here. Do we want them in enum? Think about it. Attribute name going to be equal to a value. That's it for this one. Current. And we also need to be able to increase, add, and subtract. We'll do base value first. Can you hear my son upstairs? Just out of curiosity. I can hear him dancing around, but I don't think you can hear him. Let's see, I've learned 3 or 4 new things in like half an hour watching your show. Ah, well, glad to hear it. What were those 3 or 4 new things that you've learned? Sets. Is that you, Caleb? Need something? Yes? The what power?
I type.
Oh, your keyboard? How long does it take? You got it in the window? How long does it take to get to 100? I don't know. Let's see what mine's at. Mine's at 83.
What's...
Max is 100. If you turn the light on, see, with just these overhead lights, I'm getting enough light. You generally want it in this range, but I'm probably gaining more than I'm using right now. Because I had it, since I haven't been down here working in the last little while, my batteries died a lot. Because I've been, well, when I do work, it's at night. So just put yours in the window, and it's been there for a while, right? It should be good to go. If you turn it on, you turn it on and hit this button. Yeah?
Yeah, and it shows how much...
Yeah. Then go tell me how much it has.
Last time
Oh, that's good. That's good enough to start playing. Just turn the light on by your desk. Well, the sun should make it bigger, not smaller. Okay, well, I'll be done in a bit, so I'll come upstairs and take a look. His battery died. So base value, let's go get the other one. Current value. I need a way to increase the base value too. So as they level up and they maybe get points to increase, we want to be able to increase the base value. Well, not stats, they're attributes now. Want to increase? I can think of the good name now. Int AMT for the amount. Base. Did I not call it base value? Plus equals AMT. Now there's a decrease. I can use the exact same one. And we should call this base attribute. And then we have current. Old Man Smithers, hey, how you doing? So you're back in the States, I hear. James, you still didn't list what you... Oh, there we go. Serialized field stuff. Yeah. If I don't know at least, 75% that I want specific functionality or code, I'll just make a comment and come back to it. That's one of the things I really like about Unity is it allows me to not have to sit down and do a massive amount of planning before I actually do stuff. I can just go and basically fly by the seat of my pants. If I need to change something, not only using object-oriented programming is it easy to change stuff on the fly, but inside of Unity itself with the prefabs and everything else, it's really easy. Yes, Caleb? So it works now or what?
Apparently worked to be at but the
Okay.
apparently the top thing.
Yeah. So it's good? You go upstairs and play for a bit, and like I said, I'll be up shortly. Oh, it's at 88, and yours is, I think, even higher than mine. Mine was at 83, I think. It doesn't really matter. They're both good right now. The max is 100, Caleb. You don't have 500%. I want them to go negative. Ever. We're all beginners. Yeah, for current value, yes, because buffing. Because if someone, let's say you have 10 strength, they throw a debuff on you, that brings you down -30. You'd be at -20. You could display just 0 if you want. I think it even seemed better if you display the negative. That way there when they cast out, they're like, oh, look, I'm at -30 or -20, sorry. I'm going to cast this buff that brings me back up to 0. Or they cast something that gives them a +20, it brings them to 0, where if you stop it at 0, so you're at 10, you get a -30, you're like, oh, I can't go below 0, will put me at 0. And the guy casts something that gives him a +20 after, then he's up to 20 again. So yes, for current value, we want it to be able to go to 0. And then we need to be able to add current buffs. So, and remove them. Public void add. Let's keep the same naming. Maybe I should have had add to base attribute. Yeah, I like that better. Add to current attribute. I don't like the way we can add to both of them this way. It's a super simple, easy way to do this. Can't think of one. I can see in code accidentally adding to the wrong one, but we'll keep it like that for now. All right, so they can access the base value to either get or set it on load, or when you're grabbing it from the database in this case. We have a way to increase it as the player levels. We have the current value to keep track of when they have buffs. So, you know, we're at 10 normally. We get a plus 20. It should be added through here. So our current value will be 20. We also need a way to add and subtract current values. And for debuffs, you just add a negative. That should be good. And I think I do want to go ahead and create an enum. If later on I decide I don't want to use the enum, I just delete the enum and delete the reference in here to the enum. But the way that I usually do it, I like being able to reference it through a type. I can go through and say, grab all the attributes, not necessarily by name, but by the stat they affect. The thing is, there's only ever going to be one. I'm still going to do it because right now it just makes more sense in my head. Maybe tomorrow if I stream, I was like, oh, what was I thinking? I was thinking about my son with his keyboard. Attributes, plural. I make all my enums plural generally. I didn't do that for item types, did I? I think I just did item type. I'll fix that later.
Oh, there it is. Winner, winner, winner.
Oh, is that it? I haven't heard that one before. I think that was the new Patreon. I missed it. Let me see if I can find that. If we have a new Patreon follower, I should. There's no way for me to find that. Whoever it was, thank you. Would help keeps the series going. And everyone should be thanking you. I don't know. Actually, I think I have it blocked, so hidden, so you can't see a list of the actual people that are patrons on Patreon. But go ahead, give them a big thank you, especially if you enjoy the series, as they're the ones who are essentially paying for it, paying for the time. Let me catch up on chat here too while I missed that. Debuffs are the exact same as buffs, except you get a negative value for it. So instead of adding 10, you just add a negative 10. Let's see. You're having trouble with your first program? Was that, Gamer Chap, is that, I think I understand that properly. Is you're having trouble getting around your first programming language or the first? Old ones and zeros or punch cards. If you're talking about your first programming language, easy ones to start with: C#, Java, Python's a really good one to start with. I generally like ones that have a bit of lifespan still left to them in the real world. So C# and Python are my two favorite starter languages. Benefit of going with C# is that it has a lot more of the C structure, which you see in a lot of other languages. So you get the curly brackets, you get the semicolons. Just the way everything's set up is very similar. So if you go back and you learn, let's say you want to go back and learn C++ or C, you're already going to be familiar with the structure. You just have to learn the syntax and the nuances of the language. People coming up from Python to a C language, they just absolutely hate the curly braces that they have to get in semicolons have to put everywhere. I'd say learn them both, to be honest. They're both good languages. They're both going to be around for quite some time. You're going to use them for different applications. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of applications you can go ahead and use them both for, or either one. But you really can't go wrong with either one. If you're looking for a job in the field, you might want to go ahead and look at the field that you're looking at and what language is used there the most. And that should drive, what's your decision. Oh, the very first program land. Yeah. Well, the thing is, computers have gotten so much faster since then. A lot of the stuff, the code that we're writing is not nearly as optimized as it was back then, but it doesn't need to be because, like I said, computers are just so much faster. We don't have to write everything in assembly anymore because we don't need to squeeze every last ounce of performance out of it. And we don't need any of this. That's right. This was going to be num. Not going to inherit from anything else. And attributes. I don't know what attributes I want. I'm going to go ahead and just fill some in here that I know I'm going to want to come back and change later. Let me catch up. Chat scrolling away. I don't see a lot of Java work around here anymore. Now, I'm in the Midwest, and depending where you live, different languages are popular. So if you're out west, there's a lot of Ruby. Maybe if you're out east, there could be a lot of C#. It depends where you live. And, well, I guess if you're just getting started, start thinking about where you want to live. That could be a factor that you want to take into consideration. I don't see a lot of Java around here anymore. Although I'll be teaching AP Computer Science this year. And here, it's still Java for AP Computer Science. Oh well. And it's not that Java, sucks or anything like that. It's just around here, I don't see it used a whole lot. Not a lot of jobs come up for Java. How are you doing, Nicholas? Yeah, not a lot of Pascal around here anymore. Let's go back and everyone can start learning with Logo. People still use Delphi. For those that don't know, Delphi is kind of like a Visual Studio. Not Visual Studio, Visual Basic type language. For me, I started with Basic. My first language was Basic, and then after Basic was Assembly, then C, then C++, then Java, I think then PHP, and then it just started branching around. Then to get to where I'm currently in, there's a bunch of languages after that. Then there was Objective-C, C#. Python was before Objective-C. I haven't learned Swift yet. I think Swift is probably the only current big language, I guess we'll say, because if you're doing a lot of Apple development, you'll want to learn Swift. I think that's the only language I haven't bothered to sit down and learn. Mostly because of the stuff that I do, I just use Objective-C. It works just as well. And I don't need to learn another language. I don't think Swift will be the future. People are talking about Swift. If you want to do iPhone apps and you're just starting out, learn Swift. Yeah. Back in the old days where you just had that little bit of memory that you had to keep moving around. Don't miss it. Then you had you do have the performance boost of being able to keep certain values on registers that you wanted. Yeah, Objective-C is very powerful. I don't really know a whole lot about Swift, although I have a lot of people that I work with that use Swift every day. I've just never had a need to. I'm sure if I had to, I could easily just pull up a couple quick references online and start going with it, but I don't need it. Okay. So for attributes, I'm going to go ahead and maybe just use the strength, constitution, speed, quick, and whatnot. And that'll be the attribute type. And then in the actual attributes here, we actually have the attribute name. So even though it's referencing the strength attribute, I don't have to call it strength in my game. I might want to call it might or mighty or something like that. So the player, when he's playing this game, this is the display name. This is what he sees. But in code, this is what we're going to reference. And I'm just going to go for that for now. I like that idea better. And these are supposed to be caps, constants. And I think, whoops, these names people will be more familiar with as well. Oh,
Welcome.
We got endurance. We don't need constitution. Up at Rob. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. We'll probably get the music in a bit. The Swift is universal?
You need to shake this thing.
Shut up, Grandma, grab a beer, dump in the beer, drink to the beer, cause beers are good and scruff.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't kept up with Swift, so I don't know. I've never had a need for it, so I didn't think it would run on, what do you say, Linux and Windows now? It's rare that Apple lets its stuff run on other systems. Okay, it doesn't work on Windows? I didn't think so. Oh, welcome is loud? What about the music? Yeah, very seldom do I use. I still have my Linux virtual machine, so when I need it, I can pull it up. I run Linux on my Raspberry Pis and most stuff like that. But yeah, I very seldom ever use Linux anymore either. For web servers, I think every web server I work on now is Linux, and I think it's I can't remember the last web server I worked on that was Windows based. Swift is a power and intuitive programmable language for iOS, macOS, TV. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was Swift was just strictly Windows or Windows, Apple. But you never know. They wanted to reach bigger market share. Again, we don't need every single one in here right now. And obviously I'm gonna have to go check the spelling. I know I'm spelling that wrong. Intelligence, I don't know. That's not right. Intelligence. I'll worry about the spelling later. And as I think of more, I can add them here. I do need a reference here to them. Serialized fields, attribute, what do I call it? Attributes. And there should have been attribute type, so I'm gonna have to change that. Attribute. I wanted to be types. Intelligence. All right. I forgot the N. Oh, the I and the A. Okay, probably. Oh, still talking about Swift. Intel. There we go. And like I said, we'll refactor this. I don't need to preview the changes. Intelligent attribute types. Oops. Now, because I changed that, I'm going to have to close it down. Ah, didn't work. Well, let me go change that file first. In Unity, you have to go and change the file name as well because it has to match the every name in here. I think it's F2 on Windows. Tribute types. Wonder why I didn't change. Anyway. spelling that wrong too? Trib. Check, take a look here. The Mac core is based on BSD. Which is Linux-like, but it's not Linux. Now, dexterity is how nimble you are with stuff, where quickness is just how fast you can like run or move. And so we could change dexterity to nimbleness as well. That actually, might be one of the things we change the name. Why is this happening? Unity's not catching it, but it's catching it here and it's bothering me. If you've just shown in now. I copy pasted it, so I couldn't have spelt it wrong. Let me just try it one more time. Copy ATTRIBUT types. So copy paste and it's still wrong. Let me close it. Open it up. Is this a mono develop thing? That's going to annoy me. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Okay, so we are going to save an attribute type. And later on, like I said, when we start adding this to an actual database, I'm going to want to change the order of these because it's also the order that it's displayed in. And I don't want to get around into making an editor script just to display it properly. I didn't miss the R. I missed the R here in the variable name, sure. But for the type, I don't know why I'm getting an underline for the type. I copy pasted the actual name in. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. It doesn't, I'm not going to get an error for over here because of the name. It's the type I'm having trouble with. I don't know what the current version of OS 10 is called. Is it called? I thought it was just Sierra. I didn't think it was High Sierra. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I'm not getting an error inside of Unity. It looks like I'm getting an error down here because I couldn't find the name. But I've renamed it. For some reason, it's not picking it up. Maybe if I close Visual Studio completely down, not just the script. And I can see me down the road just calling this attributes and not attribute. There we go. Reloading it up, went ahead and reloaded the project file back up properly. That's what it was. Let me quickly. The High Sierra is the new one coming out. Okay. I still use my Mac. It's set up over here. It's just for streaming. Because like I said, later on down the road, I can see me wanting to convert this over to Unreal Engine as well. Unreal Engine doesn't run on my Mac very well. It's an older Mac, and it just, actually, it won't run on that Mac. I can go ahead and run it on my laptop. It's a newer version of an Apple product, but even still, I'd rather just have one system set up for streaming, and Windows just fit the bill better. If sometime down the road I end up upgrading to a newer Mac that can run Unreal Engine, then I'll go ahead and maybe switch over to Mac, because I like the Mac OS better. I just do. But they're both just tools, so I really don't care. Yeah, I get them all the time. Okay, so we're done with this. And again, like I said, I'm probably going to just change this over to a tribute later, but we got the num. And I'm also going to go and add that. What time is it? Okay, it's already after 6, so I got to go. I'm going to go make a couple of classes that I know I want to work on the next time we start working with scripting. I want weapons.
You need to shave this thing.
Shut up, Grandma! Grow a beard! Defend the beard! Drink to the beard, cause beards are good and scruff!
Man, I gotta make that bigger. I can't read it. Anyway, thank you for the follow. I missed who it was. And it's not showing up in my bot software. Jungle Fever, there we go. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Here, everyone in chat, when you see it and it flashes up on the screen, everyone welcome themselves in, or yourself in chat. That way there, I don't have to keep tabbing between the windows over here. I just need a bigger display over here. Okay, there we go. Now I get the message. It just takes a while to get to my bot. Like I said, it's about 5 seconds behind. So we got weapons, we got armor. And I'm actually going to create a folder and stick these in just so I don't forget. And I'm just going to call it to do. Come on. It's really slow, sluggish for some reason. And trinket, because we haven't thought of a better name yet. And all these I'm just going to set up to inherit from item. And we also need consumable. Then we can actually go ahead and set the specific type. Serialized field, item type, item type. Then in here, now this is coming from a mono, oh, I don't have it, wrong one, item. It's not going to be a mono behavior. And I forgot to do, getting this on all of them. System.serializable. I'll have to go through and just do that on all of them later. Just to make sure that they're serializable if I'm going to throw them into the database, we'll need this. I want to overload the item type since it's an armor. And of course, there's different armor slots too. We'll need an enumeration for that as well. But I got to get going. Enum. Yeah, we'll do it. I'll just quickly throw down the comments and I'll do all the coding for it later. Set the item type to be armor. And if we do it that way, we can actually go ahead and lock it so it can't be changed outside of when you first create it. So when you first create it, you'd set it as an armor, then they can never be changed again. I cannot think of an instance in the game where I want to go ahead and switch something from being an armor piece to a weapon. And if there is a case where that happens, what I can do is just copy the values off, create a weapon, and put those values back in. But most of this code I know is probably going to change, at least 50% of it. But again, it's just the thought process, getting it out. Instead of sitting down with a pad of paper and drawing all these diagrams out, I'm just going to go ahead and throw all of it in code. That's why I like the live stream. You just get to see what my thought process was. So if you do miss a couple, you might end up coming back or looking at it going, you know, why did he create this type thing? And yes, I know some people don't like to go back and watch like an hour or 2 hour long stream. They just want to have that short 10-minute video that just shows exactly what to do. None of the trial and error or thought process. This will not be the series for you. I'm sorry. I just can't afford to hire someone to go edit all my videos for me. So set the armor type to armor, or item type to armor. If I do that, then I won't have to create a method to, oh, we still need a way to grab it. Now we can do something like item type. Don't like using the word type. Type of item. I don't like that either, but more descriptive. And I don't have a set. You cannot set it except for when you first create it. And you'll either create, we can do this with a lot of the stuff too. And of course you start getting to the point, well, why not just make abstract classes? Abstract classes are not something you want to be adding to your serialized field or your scriptable objects. Last time I played with abstracts in scriptable objects, there were problems. Go ahead and do a Google search on why you don't want to do that. I got to get going. This would be so much easier as an abstract. But I don't want to get into that. But I do like being able to lock it this way. And I can just use the publics from here for set and get. And let's quickly load up weapon. Click it. And trinket. And give them the once over. Serializable. Item. Enum for trinket spot. That copy paste I meant to do. This one. Insert. See chat scroll. Let me grab this. I like this way. I'll show a lot. Yeah, I think most people that watch my channel are a lot more intro level type stuff. So being able to see the thought process, all the mistakes, how I fix the mistakes. I generally try to keep stuff fairly simple. I think this format's probably better. And it's the one I enjoy the most. So I'm more likely to sit down and do a live stream, even if it's only a 30-minute live stream, as opposed to trying to sit down and make a 10-minute video. Plus, in order to make that 10-minute video, a lot of times it's probably like an hour of recording. And, you know, I gotta chop out the mistakes. Sometimes it's even 2 hours to make that 10-minute video. Then, of course, you know, if I... Rule of thumb is generally for making the edits to the video, it's usually about 3 times as long as actually the video itself, because then you've got maybe some transitions, just getting everything synced up where you're making cuts and everything else. So that 10-minute video could easily take, you know, 4 hours sometimes for me to make and upload. Then my thumbnails are pretty generic. I don't put a lot of work into my thumbnails. Maybe that initial one, then I just change the number on it. So for me, that part isn't long, but I know some people spend a lot of time making different custom thumbnails. That could easily be another 30, 60 minutes there. I like just sitting down, just stream, just go. Yeah, the only problem is with the time zone. Tomorrow, I'm aiming for noon my time, but again, I don't know if I'm going to be going to the show with my son or not. I know he wants to go. If I can kind of bribe him maybe with something else so I can hold out to, because I know he wants to see Spider-Man, but Spider-Man's not till Friday. So we'll see. Well, the thing is, if you miss it, you can still watch it live or watch it on YouTube. It's recorded. Oh, the 3D stuff? Yeah, I do a lot of 3D and VR now too. I really do like AR though. Anyway, so we got this one done for Trinket. Exact same thing, honestly. Let's spell it right though. And normally I have 2 spots. You have that one spot you can have a shield or an offhand weapon, so you could dual wield. I still want to keep that in mind because I want to use this exact same system maybe later on down the road for maybe an RPG style game or a medieval type game with a used sword and shield. Since this one's going to be fairly superhero based, and of course you could have superheroes running around with sword and shield. I don't think I want that. Do I want to have offhand? Because that would make shields technically a weapon, but we could have it as an offhand weapon. Give me a second to think about it. And it could just be an offhand. Oh, it doesn't even have to be called offhand weapon. It could just be called offhand. That way there, it's essentially a weapon that adds to AC instead of damage. I like that idea, and I can't think of a better one right now. The only difference is that it's going to be technically counted as a weapon, and I don't really like that. And these are actually supposed to be capitalized. I do that in trinkets. There we go. And the next time we do coding, I'll go ahead and work on these. I didn't do weapon types or anything like that yet either, so I'll go ahead and make those enums, but we'll do those later. If you got any more questions, go ahead and post them now, because I'm going to go ahead and end this so I can go ahead and make dinner for my son and I. Then we're supposed to start watching Gilligan's Island tonight. Hopefully, it's the weekend. We can stay up late. It's already 20 after. Okay, so go ahead and post them. I'll answer all the questions I can right now. And then I'll stream at some point tomorrow. I'm just not sure when. Going through here, I have a quick question. Your soon is roguelike. It's not completed. I've got as far as making the dungeon. That was the big thing I wanted to get out of it, because I had another project that I was working on that I wanted to be able to create these 2D dungeons. I still want to go back and make that. Roguelikes are one of my favorite type of games. And I've made a couple for Unity. Well, in Unity, I should say, not for Unity. I want to go back and do it a more full, robust system. Something that I haven't done before as far as my 2D roguelikes. And a lot more, as far as features go, closer to the original. Maybe kind of like the Angband, Zangband, that variant of it. Something close to that rule base. Yeah, I do want to do more of it, but I've just been so busy, I haven't had a chance. So my free time to actually work on projects that I share with like YouTube and the community in general. Right now, it's the hack and slash one. We reached our goal on Patreon of $100 a month. That's what I wanted for to start the hack and slash one. I figure at the time I was thinking maybe like an hour, 2 hours most on the weekends type thing. But when I started jumping into a project, I like just to get it done. I might up it to a couple times a week and just have shorter sessions, 30 to 60 minutes. We'll see. But yes, I do plan on going back to that. It's not complete. I've got the heat maps done. I think that's as far as I've gotten to. So next I've got to go ahead and get the colliders around the shapes. I was waiting for tile managers to come out. I'll have to check to see if they're out yet or if they'll be out in Unity 2017. So I really would like to go ahead and start working for that for the background. But anyway, yeah, not done. A lot more still to do there. Even just the map in general, there's still more I want to get working on it, but I've got to get time. Maybe I'll try to get like 1 or 2 series of that in every month. I will see. Different offhands. Well, just trying to think of just how the slotting system is going to work for weapons. I want to keep both of those for weapons in case I want to dual wield, but I need a way for that one slot to be interchangeable somehow. Right now, I'm just thinking of having them both marked as, well, actually, I could make that one slot be offhand. And you can either put a weapon into it, maybe an offhand weapon, or you can put a shield into it. And that actually, I think that actually makes better sense, is that one slot is a dual type slot. It can take either a weapon or an offhand weapon or a shield. So when you're setting up your slots, you have your weapon slot, you have your gauntlet slot, you have your like chest piece slot, you have your helmet slot, you'd have the offhand slot, and the offhand slot actually has more than one piece that can go in there. That's actually how we're probably going to do it. For that, the way I'm doing the heat maps, I really liked how I did it. I can't remember if I did it all live or not. I remember there was one night, it was late, and I was screwing something up. And I can't remember exactly what it was. I did fix something off camera. And I can't remember if I made a video showing what that was. To be quite honest, I'm not even sure what it was. So I might have to actually go back and watch the last one before I do the next one and see what the change was. I think I had that up on GitHub as well. I'll have to check. For me, I'm probably just going to be making a city, like a City Heroes. My map size will probably be fairly similar to the City Heroes type map sizes. There will be zoning between the 2 different areas. It's just easier that way. I want to keep things, manageable. It's just me. And I've got a lot of work to do with this. Is this World of Diablo craft? I'm not sure what you're talking about. No Diablo. No craft. It's all superheroes. I have to go ahead and make a lot of capes. I don't think I've done a game with cape physics. Not like multiplayer anyway. I just got back. What attributes can mobs get? You can look at that code when I upload it to GitHub later. So I'll probably just start off the standard size map and then go from there. I find it's too, every zone can be different. There's no set size. I'm just wrapping up now, Caleb. Sorry. Oh, you ready to get your teddy bears? 6. Okay, when you finish the tutorial area, that's when you get your teddy bears. And you're not 6? No, you can't be 4. I'm pretty sure you're automatically 6 when you come out. I'll look when I get up there. Okay. My son wants to play Champions Online again. I like the game. I can't complain. I got my little army of teddy bears with bazookas running around with me. So, okay. So, all right. It doesn't look like there's any more questions. So I'm going to go ahead, save this off. I'll upload it to, oh, something popped up. Is the video available, is uploaded and available right after I'm done? On YouTube, YouTube goes ahead and automatically uploads it to itself. And then it does some processing. So it's not available right away. The longer the video is, the longer it takes to process. So that might be one of the benefits of going down to the 30 to 60 minute streams, is that those videos will process and upload faster. And it's easier to fit those in than, you know, the 2 to 4 or maybe 8 hour streams. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to go ahead, save this off. I'm going to make dinner. Play with my son a bit. I will be playing Champions Online tonight with him for a bit after dinner. I might stream that out to just Twitch and maybe my gameplay channel on YouTube. That poor neglected channel. But as far as game development goes, I'll be done. Actually, Champions Online will probably be a good model on some of the things that I want to go ahead and integrate into my superhero game. So I'll stream it out on Twitch. I can try Beam. I'll try Beam. And my gameplay channel on YouTube, which is, I don't even know the name of it anymore. Play with Petey. So anyway, if you're around and you want to see a superhero game that will at least have some sort of bearing on the direction I'm going to go, you can go ahead and tune in tonight. But anyway, that said, thanks for showing up, everyone. I'll see everyone probably more at some point in time. Bye-bye.